November 4th, 1966. Once again, the imperialists have set their sights on Cuba. Fueled by the fear of losing their dominance, they've dispatched their fleet to the Caribbean, hoping to bring the island to its knees. But they will find only steel and resolve waiting for them. The capitalists believe they can storm these shores and destroy what we have built. They underestimate the strength of the people of Cuba and the resolve of their allies. Today, the Soviet fleet stands ready to defend this bastion of socialism. The enemy has come with their ships, but we are prepared. Our ships, our submarines, and our coastal defenses are ready to face down their assault. The forces of socialism stand united. The strength of our missiles, the power of our fleet, and the courage of our people will defend this island from the imperialist grasp. Cuba will not fall. Hey there, welcome back to Sea Power. Today we find ourselves in 1966. The United States has once again launched an attempt to invade Cuba. We cannot let this happen. We have to stop the invasion force. Unfortunately, we don't really have a full-sized battle group available to stop the Americans from trying. We only have a few ships. As for these ships, they're led currently by the Grozny RKR-121, a Kinder-class missile cruiser. It is 1966, so a lot of the more advanced platforms that you might have seen are not currently available. This ship, for example, does have the SSN-3, which for this period is actually very advanced. It can launch those missiles out to 242 miles. The Americans barely have any anti-ship missiles, but they do, of course, have their surface-to-air missiles. Ushakov, a light cruiser. An actual light cruiser which really focuses on its guns and doesn't really have anything else but that. Then we have the Krim over here. Kashin-class destroyer. We have the Komsomolets, which is her sister ship. And we have the SKR-110 and the SKR-106. These are old not even Krivax, they're Petya 2-class frigates. And again, beyond submarine warfare, or rather anti-submarine warfare, they don't have much. So it's not going to be a missile fight, it's probably going to be a gunfight. To the southeast of the intended landing zone for the Americans, that's been gleaned by intelligence, we have a couple of torpedo boats. Again, old stuff, because we don't really have much newer. They do have a Sea Whiz, that's nice. But for the rest, it's dumbfire torpedoes. No guidance, no mid-course corrections, nothing. So just throw them sort of where you're expecting the enemy to go, and then run for it, PT boat style. Further, a couple of aircraft are up here. Tu-16Ks. These are carrying exactly one anti-ship missile, and I am not expecting these to really be able to make a dent in the American forces. Not yet. Maybe after we have softened them up some, we can use these to finish them off. Finishing off our formation, or rather our fleet, we have an Echo 2 class. This is the K1, and we have the B103. It's a Foxtrot. The Foxtrot is very sneaky, diesel-electric boat, and capable of launching the Z-65 anti-submarine torpedo and the 5365K Wake Homer. So I can definitely use these as they are positioned pretty much in the path of the enemy formation. They're coming in somewhere from the north. I don't exactly know where they are, however. So what I'm going to try and do is go to about 37,000 feet. But just with one of these planes. When I have the rest of them stay down. So I'm going to have this guy leave the formation. You're going to go up to 37,000. The rest of the formation is going to stay at about 6. I'm going to use this guy as a spotter. They're not exactly suited to do that. But I don't have any other platforms available. So it's going to have to be one bomber that serves as my scout. As to what this is, let's have the torpedo boats interrogate it. It is not interested in talking, but it's also not going to Cuba, so it's not that likely to be a threat. Now, the armaments of the Echo, they also have the SSN-3, much like my Kinder-class cruiser. So they're definitely capable of throwing some missiles in the air. But of course, that does leave a sizable plume in the ocean going, hey dude, here I am. So that's not really something I want to do. Alternative options, 4 anti-submarine torpedoes, and they also have the Z-40, which I believe is a self-defense torpedo. It's anti-submarine torpedo, they only have a range of 4 miles, it's a lightweight torpedo, and if I'm not mistaken, they have those on the stern. I believe I had at least one of them come off the stern at some point, which greatly confused me because I thought that was a World War II thing. We have a helicopter here. What exactly is that? Here's our combat scout. Can we at least have a chat with this one? Does not respond. And you? Does not... agrees to comply. Okay, you're a merchant. You're not a problem. At this range, I doubt I can really make out that helicopter. But that helicopter could be a threat to my submarines. I think for now, the greatest thing that I can do, or the best thing that I can do, is just race these forces forward. So we're going to go all ahead flank. If we're not already. Yeah, we are at 25 knots at top speed. We're expected to arrive in about 3 hours. The submarines are going to have to stay quiet. I'm going to run these at 1/3. And I will have to, at some point, recharge the batteries on this Kilo. Because they don't... sorry, Foxtrot. Because they don't have a diesel... no, sorry. They are a diesel electric boat. They don't have a nuclear propulsion system. That also makes them very, very quiet. Yep, it's a sea spray. Alright, let's let the Americans close in and see if we can spring an ambush with a couple of submarines. Our bomber and ex-scout has detected the first warship, just based on their own emissions. This is about 113 miles out, so I think that at this range I might be able to get a bit more if I activate my surface search. Yeah, there's one very large contact. Do we know what this is? It's a Belknap or a Leahy. Alright. As for the other one, I can only assume it's hostile. NATO wouldn't allow another warship that close within another one. So that's definitely another warship. I'm going to turn my aircraft back to MCON. I'm going to kind of change course. Because some of these aircraft are at risk. Was it the Belknaps or the Leahys that had that extraordinary range? Some of those surface ships have an incredible amount of range. Missile cruisers... the Belknap. No, it's not the Belknap. The Leahy? Standard Missile 2. Or was it the Galvestons? Yeah, there it is. The Rim 8. They can shoot you down at 130 miles. It makes me wonder why they retired this missile. You guys in the comments can probably let me know about that. Of course, yes, I can Google it. The Rim 8 Talos has a range of 130 miles. If you look at the more modern cruisers, let's say, for example, all the way up to the Ticonderogas, they don't have nearly that range when shooting down an aircraft. They have a range of 40 miles with the Standard Missile 2MR, the medium range. So it kind of confuses me why they would have that much, or rather that little range. The Standard Missile 2ER, extended range, has the 80-mile range. But it still doesn't really hold a candle to the 130-mile just no-fly zone that those ships can create with the Rim 8. So I'm kind of surprised that they, for some reason, retired that platform. But, okay, I guess it might have had a proper reasoning for it. I'm not sure exactly where this Sea Sprite's going. It's currently 50 miles off of my submarine. As far as I know, the AI still doesn't know how to drop sonobuoys, so in that case, I don't really have to worry about it. And yet, if this thing continues on its merry course of 195, it's going to end up almost flying directly over my submarine. Let's have the K... well... I think that the anti-ship missiles are a better weapon currently than the 53s. The Wake Homers. Let's set up another range circle here for 10 miles. There. And B-103 has the same range. I need to figure out how far I can bring those torpedoes. These guys are doing 19 knots in a course of 192. Course 192. They still have to travel quite a lot, don't they? Yeah, they've got a long way to go. Okay, fine. We can make that work. We can make that work. So, ruler. It's that particular contact. They're on a course of 192. To the edge of the zone is 130 miles. They're doing 19 miles. So it's going to take them plenty of time for me to get into range and protect that landing zone. Because it takes me about 3 hours to get here. I do have to make sure not to duck into some islands. The Americans are going to take far longer than that, so we'll be having potentially a night battle. Which is going to make gunnery very interesting. We've now learned a bit more about the American formation. Not only do they have a couple of helicopters airborne, they also seem to have a Vanguard, 2 Garcias, and a Gearing-class destroyer. This guy is definitely a threat. Well, I mean, they all are. Some more than others, however. The Gearing has the RUR-5, and so do the Garcias. That's the big block of missiles that you can see up there. It's a missile-launched torpedo. So it is a missile that drops a torpedo, I think, anywhere to 6 miles away from the ship. Yeah, 6 miles. And then the torpedo turns into a Mark 46 standard lightweight torpedo, dealing with submarines. So as long as I can stay out of 6 miles, that'd be great. But of course, if a ship happens to detect a torpedo, it might be running away. And then the 6 miles might be a required range for me to still have enough range on the torpedo left before I manage to run it out of ammo. Sorry, out of fuel. There's also another ship behind it. We still don't know exactly what it is, but it's a Galveston or a Forrestal. So there could be a whole aircraft carrier in there. However, as I made the scenario, I know it is not, in fact, a Forrestal class aircraft carrier. As for my aerial scout over here, let's briefly turn on the surface search. Again, I'm not interested in getting shot down, but I do want to know what that is. And I doubt very much that it's alone. Nothing there. Alright. I'm going to continue to snorkel with the B-103. She was going down to about 70-75% of her battery. And I'd rather not have to surface close to those Garcia and Gearing classes to make sure that I have enough battery charge. So I'm doing that now. And then, as these guys are running in at 25 knots, they'll be at or close to the submarines in about 2 hours from now. I'm hoping that I can eliminate these guys, potentially using anti-ship missiles. They are about 20 miles ahead of, let's say, no, it's not friendly, of that Galveston. So let's have a look at the unit reference. Surface ships. What can a Galveston class missile cruiser do? Missile cruiser Galveston. Rim 8. They can shoot you out to 130 nautical miles, and they can also shoot your anti-ship missiles. So I'm tempted to go after them with the Tu-16s, but it's quite likely that that Galveston is projecting such an enormous anti-air umbrella that I might not be able to score a kill on the Gearing because they'll just shoot the missile down. Nevertheless, I want to have a go. We have a range ourselves of 160 miles, so they're already in range. Sorry, that's the AS6. I have the AS2 at 150 miles. It's not as good, but hey, I can make it work. The Gearing itself does not have CIWS. It's going to have to rely upon its guns or chaff in order to deflect that missile. And of course, yes, it can share that firepower with the Garcias. And then that cruiser behind it. So if I can just knock out one of these ships, that would make the load for my submarines a bit lighter. And I would very much appreciate that. So I want to have this whole formation go after the Gearing. And I think we should be able to get a missile away right away. I can also try popping a missile storm from the Grozny, more or less at the same time. I only have 8, however. It's not that many. I can even throw in more from the K1 and just try to completely overwhelm this group. Maybe that'll work, but timing that is going to be a bit tricky. Some of these missiles are very quick. I think the AS2 is doing, what, 1100 knots. And then you got the SSN-3, which isn't... It's definitely not slow missile. They're doing 675. So they kind of have to get launched before everything else. And then I have to duck and run because there's several helicopters in the air and they probably will investigate the location and potentially drop a torpedo on it. Okay, choices. What do I want to do? This is a hefty ASW Vanguard. This is a very sizable threat to the submarines, so they're going to have to go first. That means I'm going to fire 4 missiles at each of the Garcias. I'm going to fire my air-launched anti-ship missiles at the gearing. I'm going to keep the missiles from the K1 in reserve. That's how we're going to do it. Now, these things have their own seeker. They have active radar homing, and they can get mid-course corrections by radio command. So let's send 4 against the Garcia. Let's send 4 against the other Garcia. And this wing. Now if you go after the gearing. The same can be said for the rest of them, but, well, you're gonna have to give them orders one by one. Here we go. I'd love it if you could just select the formation and just right-click something and they all go after the same target. They're performing their mid-level ingress. At this point, we should have our missile cruiser be preparing to turn. We are within range. There we go. Preparing to strike. I'm hoping that by popping all missiles from this cruiser in one go, I'll be able to weaken, if not flat out eliminate the Garcias. And by doing so, also be able to remove their anti-submarine warfare guard. So that the submarines can then ambush the cruiser, which, well, after this salvo, I don't have any anti-ship missiles left. Barring those on the submarine. That's the plan. Just make sure that we have that anti-submarine warfare guard away. Get rid of those, and maybe we can survive this and fight another day. At least with the submarines. And of course the Americans will most likely know that something is going to be up. What are you doing? Unsure. Are these missiles requiring guidance? They're active radar homing. No, they don't require guidance. They got their own radar. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Salvo speed leaves a little bit to be desired. They have the orders to guide 16 and 16, 19. Or 17, 19. Come on, did you not? You're only engaging one Garcia. Dude, now please. Otherwise, we'll just have those 4 missiles get picked off, and then they go for the other 4 missiles. Come on, you got 4 launchers ready. What is your problem? Give me direct control. Over to starboard. Is this the max that we can radio command or something? Because I don't believe that we're talking these missiles into where they need to go. Yeah, they are. Oh, that's the problem. They can only guide 4 missiles at a time. Okay, fair enough. I'm not sure what my Tupolevs are doing, though. That does not make a whole lot of sense. Performing mid-level ingress. I just need you to launch your weapon and get out. Before you find yourself at the mercy of that cruiser. Which probably isn't terribly happy to see you. Oh, we lost the track on the... There you go, the gearing. Status on the charge, 89%. Okay, keep that up. I wonder if we'll be able to knock out that one Garcia. That'd be a great start of the scenario. I just really don't understand what these planes are doing. Activate your surface search radar. Oh, you already are. Okay. Activate your surface search. How do we lose the gearing? There you are. Come on, nail that gearing. I could just tell the formation to go weapons free. Maybe that's going to improve my chances. Weapons free. We're engaging 7024. No. That's the cruiser. It's optimistic, but hey. If we can score a missile hit, that'd be great. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Anyway, our missiles are looking pretty good. We're having 40 miles to fly. We should be there momentarily. 20 miles out, we've now started our descent. Going towards the rightmost Garcia. Eastmost. We're still linked to the cruiser. 14 miles out. Should be able to see it come up pretty much in front. Sea skimming phase. The gearing is changing course. There's the gearing. Already trying to fire up a hail of flak in order to deflect some of these missiles. Well, there's a lot of the Americans down there. Okay, fine. We'll deal with those later. These guys have got to go first. There's the flak. Not sure I've ever seen flak actually... What? Okay. Really? That's what you thought was a very interesting target? The chaff? Oh, come on, dude. At least try and reacquire something, right? Nope. Let's see if this one's a bit brighter than its friend. It is. Okay, excellent. And one is going again for the chaff? Lovely. Okay, this Garcia, however, is going to have issues. Change course? Oh, right on the stern. And the other one? Immediately, several fires erupt aboard the Garcia. And amidships. That should be a kill. There you go. We got two missiles just bypassing. And now going for what seems to be another target here. Okay. You're still standing by to engage. Seeing as you're... I'm not even sure if you're still guiding. No, you're not guiding those missiles anymore. One of them got intercepted by a Standard Missile 1 from 7024. So that's the cruiser. There's the cruiser popping another missile at it. And we got intercepted. Okay, so one of the Garcias is down for the count. That's good. What is that exactly? Coming down from 23,000 feet fast. What is that? Does not respond. Neither do my bombers, but that's a whole other story. Formation orders. Weapons tight. Maybe I'm using these bombers wrong, but I don't know what about it. Like the AS-2, it doesn't say that they need to have a specific launch range. It suffers much the same drawbacks. Yeah, okay. Launched supersonic standoff anti-ship missile. So what's the deal? Ah, we got 4 more missiles in the air. Excellent. This time going for the El Garcia. So I was correct in the assumption that we can only launch 4 missiles and only guide 4 missiles at a time. Alright, these guys are still doing 20 knots, 18 knots, 13 knots. There's another gearing in the back. Another gearing to the side. Alright, let's get those other missiles to crush that Garcia. And then wondering what that last gearing is going to do. The next set of missiles, the SSN-3s, is about to arrive at the Garcia. After that... Oh, there we go, there's one intercepted. After that, the easy part is pretty much over, because I still have a couple of anti-ship missiles left, but not nearly enough to eliminate that whole formation. So after that, it's going to come down to the submarines. And if they fail, it's going to come down to the gunboats, including the light cruiser, from my surface action group. So it's going to be potentially a gunfight, but at least I'm shoring up some of their defenses by eliminating at least another Garcia. And hey, if I can take out that gearing, that'd be great, but not at the moment. Also, I wonder when we're going to see more of those interceptors come after me. Because one was intercepted from, not from the Galveston, from 7024. Oh, that's the other cruiser. Oh, yeah, I got chaffed again. Alright, are you smarter? You look smarter. You're not going for the chaff. These missiles still do have some additional range, so they're going to try and go after the Galveston now. Galveston probably knows about it, seeing as they have their own radars active. This Garcia is done for. Hit. Instantly eliminated. Good kill. Now, I'm a bit confused why this missile has decided to go for the Galveston, as opposed to the ship that's closer to it, because this is not the Galveston. That is that other cruiser. I think a Leahy or a Kunz. The American anti-air defense is pretty formidable. There you go. All the missiles have been intercepted. So I launched 8 missiles and only scored 2 kills. It's not strictly a great outcome, but it could help the submarines in surviving the next couple of hours. Alright. So far, decent. There's plenty of work to be done. And because this is such a long scenario, the next parts are going to arrive soon. First, we're going to have to deal with these escorts. Then, eventually, we might be able to take a stab at those landing ships. But it'll be a long battle. Hope you guys will join me for parts 2 and 3 soon. Although, if you remember, you can easily watch these things immediately. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon for the next parts.